Alright, first off, I want to say all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways pushing this word in all sincerity and truth, the sisters, the believers, the helps, shalom. This is the brother Irawam from the James Jamaica camp, and just want to do a quick lesson on the New Testament, right? Because a lot of times here the so-called Christians talking about the New Testament and the Gentile and God bringing everybody, and that are them promise. But really and truly, the New Testament was a prophecy that was made about Israel and Israel only, right? Them always say the New Testament, especially the New Testament, which are the put it from Yahushai up to from Matthew going all the way back to the Revelation, that are the part of the Bible. But the actual New Testament, them always say it about the Gentiles and God. Well, it is about the Gentiles and God are bringing the heathen and all them something there. But no, it was always a prophecy that directed directly at Israel, and that is why we keep showing that. Look, it's the Gentiles are the Israelite foreigners, but right. So with this lesson, just gonna highlight the fact, or show the fact that look, this is a prophecy that was unto Israel and Israel only, right? The New Testament is a prophecy unto Israel and Israel only, right? So the first precept we're going to read is Matthew 27, well, Matthew 26, verse 27, and he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, drink ye all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. Right? Now, if you know about the Old Testament, when the first covenant was being done or was being made, right? Moses actually sprinkled blood upon the children of Israel and said that this is the sign of the covenant, right, between Yahweh and Yahushai. As a matter of fact, of Yahweh, Salakia, to the and the children of Israel, right? As a matter of fact, before we even get into that, let me just look up the word testament, right? Because it says it's the New Testament. Blood for the new. Let's look up the word testament. Make it play.
Strong's G 1242. Diatheke. Diatheke.
Alright, it says a disposition, arrangement of any sort, which one wishes to be valid. The last disposition which one makes of his earthly possessions of after his death, a testament or a will. And look at the second definition. It says a compact, a covenant. Right? So basically a covenant is an agreement. Look into the root of it.
Strong's G 1303. Diatithemi. Diatithemi.
To arrange, dispose of one's own affair. To make a covenant. The second definition is to make a covenant, to enter into a covenant with one. So basically, there's a New Testament, there's a new agreement, right? And that new agreement would be what? The fact that Yahushai would spill his blood, and whosoever basically have spilling blood for Israel gets saved. But as you know, the salvation go in stages, right? You have the elect, right, which consists of the 144,000, right, as well as the third, right, and then it's scripture telling that all Israel shall be saved. So basically, the rift between the Mosai and Israel basically get put aside based off our new agreement that get made. So imagine me and somebody make an agreement, right? And let's say that I was the one that actually broke the agreement, right? And then me and that person have riff. Then somebody else come and say, look here, me I go make right the riff, right? And me I go pay the me I go basically sustain the debt or damage or take responsibility for the fact that him break the covenant, right? And then after the New Testament is the fact that after me do that, then everything's supposed to good. That are the new agreement. So guess what? The penalty now go long for break the covenants now go fall upon him. The new agreement that the covenant go fall upon me, and the fact that it fall upon me, then everything supposed to be good afterwards, right? So in him doing that, him become a mediator, right? Just like when Moses in the book of Exodus was a mediator between the Moses and Israel, but it was just used with the blood of rams, right? As we're gonna get the precept there as well, right? Actually found it earlier. Oh boy, that's Satan right there, yo. Alright, this is this is Hebrews 9 verse 15. It says, "For this cause is the mediator," which is Yahushai, just explain that, "of the New Testament, the new agreement, and by means of death, the redemption of transgressions that were under the first testament, they which were called that they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance." Right. So because they did paid, then we can basically the fullness of the contract can go through, right? Which is what we inheriting the land and everything. So him basically step in, right? And him do what? As the second line says, but that by means of death for the redemption of transgressions that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance. So right there and then, him basically say stand the penalty for the fact that the agreement was broken, right? And him basically stand the call for the one that is at fault of breaking the covenant. But it's a new arrangement. It's a new covenant, right? It's a new contract. So when this happen, the way we can receive what? Eternal life. That's why what all Israel can be saved. Because the scripture tells you that Yahushai died for Israel in Acts 5. May not try to make this too long, right? Verse 16 says, "For where a testament is, there must also be the necessity. There must also of necessity be the death of the testator," right? Verse 19 it says, "For when Moses had spoken every precept to all the children, to all the people, Salakia, for when Moses had spoken every precept to all the people according to the law, he took the blood of calves and goats with water and scarlet wool and hyssop and sprinkled both the book and all the people, saying, This is the blood of the testament which God had enjoined unto you. Moreover, he sprinkled with blood both the tabernacle and all the vessels of the ministry, and almost all things are by the law purged with blood, and without shedding of blood there is no remission." Right? So that's why in the law you have about the sacrifice, right? And if you continue going at these in the book of Hebrews, I tell us say, yo, our shine now did more than one time, because but then the priest they have to do a sacrifice every time they sin, basically sin. But now him did once, right? So that he basically when him come back, him basically will be without sin. So when if Lord willing we go through this purging, afterwards we're going to be clean, right? So you can find this in the book of Exodus. Can't remember the exact chapter and verse at this time. Brothers can look it up, where this account actually took place with Moses sprinkling the blood, which was what the sign of the first testament, right? You can look up the word enjoined as well. Look up the word enjoined. It says order, command to be enjoined, right? So going back to the fact that it was prophecy, right? So that showed that Yahushua sprinkling his blood was a sign of the New Testament, right? And he's the mediator, right, of the new agreement. We're going to show that, because them say in our churches that look, him shedding blood for everybody, right? Even the heathen, right? But we know that the Gentiles are the Israelite foreigners, Now, how we can prove that it's only the New Testament only applies unto Israel? We're going to go into the prophecy, right? This is book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 31 to 34, right? This is Jeremiah 31, verse 31. It says, Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Now, if you know the history, you know that this kingdom of Israel was split into two. The northern kingdom, which is the house of Israel, right, which was headed by Ephraim, the tribe of Ephraim, and you have the house of Judah, which was the tribe of the kingdom of Judah, which was headed by the Judites, which is considered what Benjamin, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right? Now let's look up the word covenant from the Old Testament, right? As him say, a new covenant, right? The Hebrew word is barayat, right? Covenant, allegiance, pledge between men, treaty, alliance, league, constitution, order, ordinance, monarchs to subject, which Yahweh being the top, right? But guess what? This new covenant was going to be made through Yahweh Shai, which is that this is what Yahweh Shai said. Look here, I am the blood which is shed for the what? The New Testament, the new agreement, the new alliance, and him are the mediator for that new alliance. Therefore, it is coming. The new alliance, the new covenant is coming through Yahweh Shai, right? Agreement, pledge, alliance between God and man, alliance, friendship, covenant, because a covenant was made between what? Yahweh and Abraham, right? And it passed on to Isaac, to Jacob, to Israel, right? It says phrases, covenant making, covenant keeping, covenant violation, right? So all of this have to do with what? Covenant, right? Let's still look up the root. Alright, so let's get back to the precept. It says, Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which what? Which was the same thing we had to deal with where Moses sprinkled the blood upon them, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, saith Yahweh. Right, but him say you're not gonna be as the old covenant, because what? This is gonna be the agreement are based upon what? Faith, right? Strictly through faith, through Yahweh Shai, right? But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel, right? After those days, say Yahweh, I will put my law into their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, say Yahweh. And I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sins no more. But how was this done? How was this going to be accomplished? How did the Lord set this new covenant in motion? Through Yahweh Shai. Because only through Yahweh Shai this will be accomplished. Right? Which goes back to what? The same thing that the people say the Old Testament and New Testament say two different things. But let's see where the New Testament offers about this in Jeremiah 31, Salakia. Right? Let's go Hebrews 8 and 6. Right? This is Hebrews 8 and 6. Right? And also the Strong's in a Matthew for the Testament, right? It's the same word here in the scripture as covenant, right? Verse 6 it says, But now he had obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which he here is talking about who? Yahweh Shai is the mediator of the new covenant, which was established upon better promises, right? Which is what was discussed in Jeremiah 31, but we'll soon get to that. Let's look up the word mediator right here, yo. Let's look up the word mediator.
Strong's G 3316. Mesites. Mesites.
So who are the mediator for this new covenant or this new agreement? Right? It says one who intervenes between two, either in order to make or restore peace and friendship, or form a compact, which also we see the word in the in the root for testament or covenant, and also you see it in the New Testament or the Old Testament a while ago, or ratifying a covenant, right? A medium of communication, right? To go between. Same say you might ratify a covenant, right? Me so have to go look up the word ratify, right? This is to make peace between. So basically, it might make the new agreement so that what peace can be between us and Yahweh, which involves what him spilling his blood, right? And we being covered with that blood, right? So let me just look up the word ratify real quick. Slack here. Word ratify from the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it states to approve or sanction formally, to confirm. So basically, I'm going to confirm the agreement, right? So I'm going back to the precept. Read verse 6 again, Hebrews 8 and 6. But now he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, he said, behold, exactly. So, as the scripture always did, Paul always express how it's moving on to perfection, and that the first covenant, the first ordinance were a shadow of things to come, because guess what? It was the law was spiritual. The law is always spiritual, but it was being executed in a carnal manner, and Israel never understand it, right? So guess what? It wasn't perfect, but now it's being perfect when it's going to be written in our hearts. Right? It says, for finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith Yahweh. Right? Isn't this what we just read in Jeremiah 31 and 31 to 34? It says, for this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith Yahweh. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. Right? Which is basically the same the same agreement in our sense, but it was it was refreshed. Reason being because we actually broke it, and know that Yahweh shall basically pay the penalty for it being broken. It can be refreshed and be done the right way, because by the end of it being broken, what ended up happening is that there was a process that took place where the laws got written in our hearts, right? Or will be written in our hearts and our minds, right? And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know Yahweh, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. For I will be merciful unto their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. In that he said a new covenant, he had made the first old. Now that which decayed and waxed old is ready to vanish away. So means that, yo, guess what? All of that we will agree to is the time of the punishment have come to an end. All of that, right? And all of the penalties for breaking that covenant, that old covenant, are got done with once the punishment fulfilled, right? And once the restoration for breaking it has been fulfilled, and then guess what? The new one will come across. So guess what? Everybody will go good, right? So that is what the prophecy is about. So right here you can see, and he say he make it with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. We bring home the point that, look, it's not about the Gentiles, or it's not about the heathen. The Gentiles, what it's about is about the Israelite foreigners, because the house of Israel is the northern kingdom and the house of Judah is the southern kingdom. The same thing. The covenant that he made, so overall the covenant that he made with what? The house of Israel. That is what it all boils down to. Right? So hope this was edifying. Hope brothers was edified, and once more want to say all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak Badash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways pushing this word in all sincerity and truth, the sisters, the believers, the helps, shalom.